Yeah. Hello. Welcome.
To go into it.
Yeah. Welcome to the Organized Chaos podcast. This will be streaming on both the main Organized Chaos channel and the podcast channel. But after it's done streaming, you will only be able to find it on the Organized Chaos podcast channel. So if for some reason you need to watch it again, it is free. It is absolutely available to you. But you gotta go over to the Organized Chaos podcast channel. I have links all over the channel for it, and it will be right there for you, free to watch whenever you want. It's also available on most podcasting services if you just want audio version. Also, make sure to like and subscribe and follow.
Yes, please. Like, comment, subscribe, follow. Please. We'd love to hear from you.
Algorithm. Yes, the algorithm things are good. We like the algorithm.
And don't just watch the first few minutes of it either. Watch the full thing. You know, we stagger our way through a lot of stuff. Mostly with a 95% success rate.
Yeah, to a degree. Yeah, it's almost a success. And what's amazing is that the podcast never has any technical issues. It's always seamless in every aspect.
Never.
This is
never.
I mean, we call it the best podcast in the history of the universe, and we only call it that because it's true. Like,
our
there's no better way to describe this
we'll
podcast.
do it live.
Yes.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Hey, this is Future Rob here, just doing some work here at the studio, working on these vlogs and podcasts. All these counselors start dropping dead, left and right. Heinous killings. Turns out, that kid who drowned the year before, his mother came back to that camp and exacted revenge.
I know what this place is.
We protect the proper flow of time. You picked up the Tesseract, breaking reality. I want you to help us fix it.
Why me?
I need your unique Loki perspective.
Do I get a weapon?
Yeah.
We are all convinced that Costello has at least one mole inside the Special Investigations Unit.
There are parts of my job I can't talk to you about.
Getting the feeling we got a cop in my crew.
Sooner or later, he's gonna find out who I am, and he's gonna kill me. There is a leak from the inside. It's real, man. Smoke him out.
I'm Damien Karras. I'd like to help you. Where's Reagan?
In here with us.
I believe we should begin. Avoid conversations where the demon. The demon is a liar. Do not listen.
That thing isn't my daughter.
It is he who commands you. The power of Christ compels you.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
I wanna be.
You already showed yourself. That just doesn't help.
Oh,
hello!
God damn it! You're
Welcome to an Organized Chaos podcast.
Yes,
I'm Bobby Corners, and Organized Chaos is here, being a clown as usual.
Well, no, I'm very serious. I'm very serious. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know, man. You listen to Peter Gabriel. I don't know, man.
Peter Gabriel's pretty hardcore.
Seriously.
Pretty hardcore.
Yes, he is.
But yeah, and yeah, no. If you're watching regularly, you might notice there's an episode gap. I'm still editing it. I've been working, and Comic Expo and Peter Gabriel were too close to each other, and I didn't realize how much of a time sink it would be. But it is coming together. It will be coming out in a couple days. But yeah, so episode 119 will come out before episode 118. Although you can see an episode of 118 on my main channel, but like the whole thing will be on here later.
That clip, he sounded good.
Dude, like he sounded great.
Yeah.
And it was a damn good show. It was a damn good show.
Like, I'm sure he like played all the hits.
Actually, that's the thing. Like it was it was at least half new stuff. And it's one of those things that first it like immediate response was kind of disappointed, but like it's kind of sits with you because here's the thing about the new stuff. The new stuff is actually really good.
Okay.
And every single song had a pretty complex like setup for it. Like every like obviously you got the standard like screens for so people in the distance can see, and then then you have a stage set up. And he actually used all of the things independently. So you could use the screen as like a separate thing, but a lot of times he'd also add element to the screen. Like if you notice that little clip I used, I made sure to get the screen in there because there's elements in the screen.
Yeah, like that, like the background was doing something, but Peter was still front and center. And
yeah. But then the screen will do something separate, and then sometimes, usually the two screens on either side would do the same thing, but sometimes they do different things. And then there's also this circular screen that he would raise up and down depending on the needs. In the middle of the thing, and then the stage, it's a lighting setup. Like he had it set up so the lighting on the stage would change pretty seamlessly all the time.
That's cool.
For a couple of songs, he had like a screen in the front, so he could actually I can kind of show off a little bit of that. So let me dig it up real fast.
Yeah.
Because it was a cool show. Like I said, probably the biggest thing I will say I was disappointed is I didn't get Games Without Frontiers.
Okay.
Which was a little sad. But it was overall pretty cool. Yeah, so for the first two songs of the second set, he had this kind of screen thing set up in the front. And yeah, so he could do stuff like this pretty much in front of the stage.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a very.
And I see the other one, just the circular one, right above the stage too.
Yeah. There's lots of stuff.
I think I see another one on the back, and then like another one just behind that.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. Damn, you can see. Let me see one that kind of really shows it.
Had some pretty decent seats too.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. So we got lawn seats for The Cure, and we got floor seats for Peter Gabriel. And the Peter Gabriel seats cost about $10 more. It was just like, I didn't realize The Cure was that much more in demand.
Well, I mean, I was talking about this with a friend of mine with the re-release of Stop Making Sense and the Talking Heads. How like they've been doing press circuits together. Like all members have been doing like press circuits, appearing at screenings, getting along. David has expressed regret towards how things ended.
Oh, wow.
I mean, there are so many things lining up. I don't want to jinx it and say what possibly could happen. What I want to happen, I guess. But, I imagine like if they were to, let's say, go on tour, right?
Yeah.
They would, I'm sure their seats would, I'm sure the venues would have the price, and I'm sure the tickets would just probably be pricey.
Yeah. Oh,
just because of the demand.
Reunion, yeah.
Yeah. And The Cure, it's not like they've broken up, but they really haven't put out new material or anything or played together in a while.
That's the interesting thing, though. Like, apparently they have an album coming out because they actually played new songs during that show, but
okay,
they don't have an announced date or anything. It's the album's apparently going to be called Songs from the Lost World because he said it during the tour, and like George and I literally looked at each other when he announced that. It's like, there's a new album. What?
Now the whole time. Now when I went to see Keika earlier in September, like I was talking to some like the people around me during the show and everything, and like I was thinking like it's like I wonder if they're gonna play some new stuff, and I go that would be awesome if they did.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I would also be okay if they just played the hits, which pretty much they did.
Yeah,
they did like a healthy mix of like their catalog, like very healthy mix of it. I mean, like there were 2 songs I wanted to hear. They didn't play that, but I mean, they played War Pigs as the beginning of the encore. Their 5-song encore, Bob.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm okay.
That's almost as big as the Cure's encore.
Yeah, so I mean, like they played War Pigs. I'm happy, and I think that's a very rare case. Very rare case of where an original is probably just as good as the original.
Ooh, nice.
Like the cover is maybe a little better.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's my opinion, but like I think it's better just because of the horns.
True. But here, this gives you a better idea of the clip I just played. So like, you see back here the purple. There's like, I believe these are like 9 screens, and sometimes he would use them all so they could each have a separate camera on the band because he had a 9-piece up there. Then you had the circular screen up here, and that is something that could be lowered, and that thing changed positions so much during the whole show.
Did it go like left to right or just up and down, all over?
Not left or right, but up or down, and it changed like its angle quite a bit.
That's awesome.
And then you had a screen on the side, and then another screen on the side, and then half the time those screens are actually doing separate things. And I can dig up another video and show an example of that. So well, where would that be? That'd be, I think, kind of early. Is it this one? I think it might be this one. Okay, yeah. So like he's got the main show, and then you can see like when he's doing the stuff on the screen, it's kind of your standard camera stuff, but you can see it's doing like identifying people and throwing up stats and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a well thought out show, and every song had like its own like orchestrated setup, its own videos. Like it's pretty complex stuff.
That's pretty.
It was
cool.
impressive.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, it was a good show. And you guys will see that full coverage, and like all those clips I just showed up, you're gonna get to see all those pretty much on the video when that comes out. So guys,
I just realized I haven't talked to you since you saw Peter. So
yeah, dude, I've been so busy since I saw Peter.
Yeah, it's all good.
I can't wait to not set my alarm clock tomorrow. I'm so excited. It's been like
I get it.
Almost 3 weeks since I've had to just not set my alarm clock. It sounds amazing.
I get it. Well, let's roll with this show so you can get to that joyous moment.
I guess so. So so we decided to go ahead and look back at Loki season 1 because if you've been watching for a long time, you know that like Loki was one of the first things I started talking about on the podcast because I think the first episode of Loki lined up pretty well. But Bobby wasn't with me at that point, so he didn't cover most of them with me. I think maybe you came in for like the last episode or something.
The last 2, yeah.
So we haven't had a chance to like talk about Loki together, well, most of it. And I actually kind of wanted to revisit it. If for no other reason than it's been over 2 years.
When I came on, I binged the entire season because I hadn't been watching. So
yeah,
I did, and I really liked how they built everything up and got to with the multiverse and the time authority.
Yeah,
all that. Like I really still liked all that. I enjoyed that whole story about how everyone at the TVA are variants. Really loved that because that's like something out of like a Twilight Zone episode. Almost. And that's just awesome. But I really knew that the next big bad guy was going to be introduced in this, and I just thought this was a lousy introduction to him. And I really didn't like Jonathan Majors' performance in this. It's just him just being the unknowing and just docile in comparison to how we've seen him. I it was off-putting to me, and I just didn't care for it.
Well, I'll go ahead and give a brief summary, and then I'll go through my thoughts. So, like,
Yeah,
this is like, so I guess I'll go ahead and talk about going into this. And I might have talked about this years ago when I started this podcast, but you know what? I'm going to talk about it again because I don't remember. Going into this, I was not. This is like the Disney show I was like least excited for because I felt like Loki already had a good story. He died like 50 billion times. Let's just go ahead and leave him dead and move on. So I was not excited for this series whatsoever. But you know, I was like, you know, it's MCU. I'm gonna give it a shot. If nothing else, I'll talk about it online. And I kind of like this. So, like, essentially, what we're dealing with here is a Loki. It picks up immediately after Avengers Endgame, which is taking place during Avengers 2012, by the way. So, yeah, time.
Well, we pick up from a scene we saw in Endgame, but where this literally starts is when the time traveling Avengers, try to steal back the Tesseract, and they are duped by Hulk of 2012. And then Loki from 2012, we see, remember, he grabs the Tesseract and then just disappears, but we see where he goes. And that's how they did it. And I agree with you. This, I wasn't looking forward to it. And for the same reasons, like, he's dead. Like, I understand that was the one that, like, before even, you know, Endgame came out, that a lot of people were really torn or devastated that, you know, along with everybody else we lost in that, we know Loki's not coming back. And it's just, yeah. And I always thought, well, he is the god of mischief. And if anything, that is, and that could play into it. But I kind of like that we get that Loki from that time period, the one who's still angry and hasn't experienced all the things that we saw, as opposed to experiencing over a long period of time and making that change in that arc. He kind of gets it in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. So, like, we're dealing with film Loki. He is teleported. He gets teleported to the Tether, and then the Time Variance Authority show up and essentially say, "You're not supposed to be here. You're a variant." And then he gets taken to the TVA, and I kind of love the introduction of the TVA because, like, it's introduced as like, it's almost like this office building type thing where it's like pure bureaucracy and everything's organized to like a T. And what I love is the fact that, like, you're introducing Loki, just an absolute agent of chaos, into this super organized system. And for a while there, they've got his number pretty well. And they introduced the idea that they're going after variants, and Loki is one of the most troublesome variants because he's fucking Loki.
Yeah, he's Loki.
And when they introduce that, it's like, okay, kind of makes sense why Loki might be about this time variancing, because that's one of their biggest issues. I think that's a really good setup for a series. I think Owen Wilson is a great counterpart to Tom Hiddleston's Loki, kind of just more the straight-laced, just normal dude. I like their friendship throughout this. I think Sylvie is an interesting variant of Loki, because we meet lots of variants of Loki. Very few actually played by Tom Hiddleston. Surprisingly few played by Tom Hiddleston. But they have some fun with it.
And one perfectly played by an alligator.
Yes, the alligator fucking steals the show. I swear to
God. The pair that he teams up with near the end.
Yeah.
That all of those actors were great. Like, even the kid was great.
Yeah. I know the name of the older
I want to say
Loki, the classic Loki.
Rupert Grave, but I know it's not.
No, it is shit. I know his name. He is a very famous actor, and now I have to Google it because I am brain farting. And yeah, in case you guys are wondering, yes, season 2 is coming out very soon, which is why we are covering
Yes.
this again. But Richard E. Grant. God.
I was
Yes.
I was
But yeah, he's like the older Loki that we get introduced to. Not a huge role. And I think it's also worth noting, and you could argue it's a little disappointing, but like the President Loki that was really big on all the advertisings and stuff was just a variant. It's not like Tom Hiddle's our Loki ends up running for president or something.
Yeah, no, they teased us with that. I mean,
yeah,
I really
and it's like,
to see
that
more.
could be fun. And it's like, oh,
is there President-elect Loki? Like,
yeah,
politician Loki? I would love to see that.
But yeah, you bring up how like essentially it's just Loki's causing mischief, and kind of Loki learning. Like obviously, we come to the realization that the time variance authority isn't remotely what it claims to be.
No.
And it's kind of set up by a variant of Kang, who
that
yeah. Which relates to The Departed. These movies are
goes
like in the
so
same
moving
universe.
right into The Departed before we stop
Clearly,
talking about Loki. Yeah,
absolutely, yeah, it's the same movie, guys. But yeah, it's introduced to Kang. I like this introduction. So I guess I disagree with you there. I think I like the quirky Kang, but like obviously this is a one shot, so this isn't like Kang.
Right.
This is just
I
kind
mean,
of
like that's the next Thanos. This dude? No.
Well,
And
we'll have to see season 2, and I also think he's gonna get recast with all the shit going down.
Do I.
So
do I.
Listen, I genuinely think he's a really good actor, but it seems like he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I'll take it back if I'm wrong, but it looks bad.
It doesn't look great, man.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this the first time I watched it, but I did catch it this rewatch. I caught the Thanos helicopter. I don't know how I could have missed that.
That's right. I wish I could dig up an image, but yeah, there. Well, let me see if I can dig up the image.
Yeah,
the Thanos helicopter is like.
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, oh hey, that's funny, and that was just. I was just like, I can't believe I didn't catch that before.
Mm.
So I would like to see that timeline.
Yeah. Let's see how easily I can pull this up.
Now, do you think that they just blue screened in that scene, or do you think they actually had Downey on set for day one and everyone else on set?
Oh, well,
or do you think they reshot that again?
I think we can go ahead and talk about, because this show has really bad green screen.
At times, yes.
I noticed it a lot on the rewatch. On the first watch, I didn't really affect me, so maybe it's fine. But like on the rewatch, I'm like, Jesus Christ, why does everything look so green screened? Just oof.
I mean, that DB Cooper part is still perfect.
Oh yeah, the DB Cooper. Yeah, finding out Loki is DB Cooper is like the most obvious thing in the world. But yeah, in case people are wondering. The Thanos helicopter is absolutely in this series, and it's a great drop.
Yeah, it's a great little Easter egg. Also, all the Infinity Stones were just like in some office chair. Like
yeah, well, they're paperweights.
Yeah.
So that it gets windy in there.
that got pruned, right? That whole desk.
Well, did it? I don't remember.
The desk that it had it in the scene, yeah.
Oh, really?
They pruned the desk.
There are Infinity Stones
containing all of the Infinity Stones and other shit that was
multiple copies of them too.
Yeah. So, I mean, I maybe I'm like focusing on one part of this too much, but I was really thinking like, so is that ever going to come back into play? All those Infinity Stones just somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
Now, are they just being dumped onto that planet with all those Lokis?
That's what I would assume if it got pruned.
I mean that's not asking for anything to happen.
No, things will be fine. But yeah, like the whole series, caps off with essentially Loki and Sylvie destroying the TVA, but apparently ending up in the wrong timeline because they meet Mobius and then the one I can't remember, like B-15 guard B-15
Yeah.
something
Well,
like
she
that.
sent him to. Yeah, she sent him to the wrong one.
Yeah, so he's in the wrong timeline. I kind of hope he meets old Mobius because, like, I like their relationship, right? And rather than just rebuilding a new one. But yeah, I overall like. I know there's lots of people bashing, especially this and like WandaVision in retrospect, but I thought this was really good. I know lots of people like to attack. Lots of
I
people like to
enjoyed it.
attack. Lots of people like to attack the scene where he's getting kicked in the balls a lot, and I feel people are missing the fact that he's a villain, guys. Like, this is part of his his arc to become better.
Yeah, he has to get kicked in the balls repeatedly in order to be a better person.
No, I mean, it's part of it, man. Let's face it. Seeing a villain get kicked in the balls isn't bad.
Well, yeah, you could never go wrong with that.
So it just, and as far as this being Sylvie's show and she just runs the whole thing, I don't know what show you're watching, but this is still very much Tom Hiddleston's show. She's just a prominent player in it. But yeah, overall, for me, really bad green screen aside, I thought this was a pretty damn solid first season, and I am excited to see what season 2 does. Do you have any concluding thoughts, Bobby?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on a second. I just read it. I'm cross-referencing a headline that just popped up. Oh shit. Oh, okay. I'll send it to you, and you can call live whether we covered or not.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay.
Well, if you want to add it as well, I can just put it on screen as well.
Okay, hold on. Yeah. Finalizing thoughts. Yeah, no, this was great. I really want to see where it's going to go to in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Like what season 2 has in store, where they're in. Because walking into this, my original thought would it be that it was okay, is he going to so it's either he's going around and we're seeing Loki causing mischief in all these different scenarios because we saw the BD Cooper and the presidential Loki and everything. So I'm thinking, is that what it is? Or is it something more along the lines of I didn't know what to expect. So going into this, I was impressed with it, with the TVA and everything, and how that really just turned itself into being pretty much a there we go. And that being the whole story of everything. So yeah, I'm excited for the next season.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens, but yeah, that like WandaVision, I didn't want to have a season 2 because I felt like that was like a pretty decent, like,
that kind of
self-contained story.
And I think
with this having a season 2, I was excited.
Yeah, well, with WandaVision, like I think the real ending to her story is at the end of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and of course, since they're playing within the multiverse, they could always bring anybody back now. And it doesn't have to be that actress or actor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, No Way Home kind of establishes that Peter Parker can look very different.
Which is cool. Which also means, like, there is a potential that we could get, like, a Chris Evans Captain America.
Oh.
And a Chris Evans Johnny Storm.
Let's have Killmonger meet Johnny Storm. We can have some fun.
So I'm excited for this. I still just wasn't impressed. I think maybe I had read too much about the next bad baddie that they're going to be facing and getting that introduction to him. I was like, well, that's weak.
Well, I think for me, like this obviously isn't supposed to be Kang. This is like almost like the harbinger of Kang.
I mean, the three at the end of Ant-Man were more menacing than the Kane that we got through that entire movie. I mean, the Kane that we got in that, the three that had that council in the end credit scene.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I could see that. But yes. Anything you want to add? Or are you ready for Departed?
Yeah, let's talk Departed.
Departed. So what? This came out in like 2006.
Yeah.
When I
It's
first saw it in
actually
the theater, I loved it. Like,
No.
oh my god. Ugh.
Yeah, it's actually it's kind of a remake actually of a Hong Kong film from 2002.
Yeah, I was about ready to say it's a Japanese movie, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, from Hong Kong, China, Hong Kong.
Oh, am I? Okay.
Yeah, it's called Infernal Affairs, and it's also loosely based off the real life Winter Hill game of South Boston.
Oh, really?
And
I knew about the internal affairs thing.
Oh yeah, the Winter Hill game, Whitey Bulger, like that's who Jack Nicholson is supposed to be. And
yeah,
yeah, and hold on, I have it here. And Matt Damon's character Colin is based off the corrupt FBI agent John Conley.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure, yeah, Conley, yeah. So I guess if you haven't seen the 2006 Martin Scorsese movie, The Departed, it stars Leonardo DiCaprio as a cop who goes undercover with the mob, and Matt Damon, who is a mob guy who goes undercover with the cops. Yeah.
Yeah.
And essentially these two guys.
Jack Nicholson plays the mob boss.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson's the mob boss. Martin Sheen is the cop who's in charge of
Leo.
Leo, yes.
And Mark Wahlberg.
Billy
He's also
Costigan.
his.
Yeah.
Mark
and then
Wahlberg
Mark
is also...
Wahlberg, is very the Martin Sheen's very abrasive partner, I guess, in this.
He takes they take their good cop bad cop game very seriously.
Oh my god! Like Martin
and Martin Sheen is very
intense in this.
And Martin Sheen is very much a good cop in this movie, and just a great like the character himself was a great man.
Yeah. So
I always love the scene where like he when later in the movie he meets with Leo at Martin Sheen at that character's house, and he gives him information, and while he's in there, like he's like, come on, let's eat some food, and he just wouldn't take no. Like that is like, wow,
yeah,
that stood out, and which also made the following moments just way more crappy.
Yeah, well, I mean, Martin Sheen in a lot of ways he's kind of the heart of this movie.
Yeah.
Because like you like his character very quickly, and spoilers for a almost 20-year-old movie, which you should watch because this is a phenomenal movie.
It is.
It's Martin Scorsese. It's worth watching.
It's pretty much. I think this is his first tour back into gangster movies after since Goodfellas. I want to say
no. Gangs of New York was before this.
Gangs of New York. I don't really consider that a gangster movie.
It's a gangster movie. It's a very stylized gangster movie.
It is and it isn't. It's not. It is, but it's not like like the mafia or anything like that. Those are like neighborhoods of people. But yeah,
true.
We're splitting hairs here.
Yeah. Okay, so no matter what our stance on whether or not that's a mobster movie or not, Gangs of New York is fantastic as well. And you should
watch it.
Martin fucking
absolutely.
Scorsese.
Absolutely, like when Daniel Day-Lewis goes over and just kills that dude in his doorway, like
oh my god, that is dude. Daniel Day-Lewis looks like a cartoon character in that movie. But he really makes it fucking terrifying. It's
he looks like he looks like he is the guy who's not above tying someone to train tracks, but he'd stay there just to watch.
Yeah, dude, like he makes it fucking work. It's anyways. Martin Scorsese is a brilliant director. You guys should watch it. And I think it's worth noting, like every once in a while he gets asked about the MCU, and I feel like he kind of gives your classic filmmaker kind of like, hey, I want to see more my taste in movies, and I get it because yeah, he loves the craft, he loves the art, and I think it's almost like newspapers are just looking for that clip now when they ask him about the MCU. It's like, hey, what do you think about the MCU now? It's like, yes, the MCU is stuff I mostly enjoy the MCU quite a bit, but yeah, like you ask somebody like Martin Scorsese, of course he's gonna want to do more like art stuff or indie stuff. He's like he's a filmmaker and he loves the craft. I love the craft as well. But yeah,
No, he is. He is a filmmaker, and he like he really flexes his filmmaking muscle in this movie.
Yeah, no, that's
he had a great director of photography in this as well. I can't. I'm trying to find who that is because there was a lot in there that I like. Just certain things I noticed more in this one. Oh God. The first time we see Matt Damon walking into the police station, how that camera just moves up and back. Like, yeah. Not too many long takes in this, like he likes to use.
Yeah. I remember, like, my daughter watched this with me over the weekend, and like one of the first lines, Jack Nicholson has like a huge like monologue, pretty much at the beginning of this movie, where he's going over stuff. And one of the first lines here is like an N-word drop, and it's like, yeah, he's a villain, by the way.
Yeah, he's the bad guy.
He's not a good guy. We're setting that up very quickly now.
Yeah, and he also used another slur as well.
Dude, he uses lots of slurs throughout this movie.
Well, he threw two out right away. One against African Americans and the next against Italians.
Yeah,
or I'm sure not even in that order, but
yeah, he is not a good guy.
No,
and the movie is very quick to establish that. But that's the thing. Like, it does set up how Matt Damon is so kind of attached to him because he's a kid kind of just in a shop, and Jack Nicholson just starts essentially handing him stuff, just like, here, help me out, and boom, I will take care of you.
Well, in theory, let's just say that was like the 60s, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly when.
Or maybe even the 70s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That Wolverine comic wasn't out. That was a 90s comic.
That's a good question. I saw that Wolverine comic, and it made me wonder when. Well, I wasn't sure when this is supposed to be taking place because I feel like most of it's modern day, so I would assume it'd be like about when Matt Damon was a kid, which would probably be like 80s. When did the Wolverine comic book come out?
You know the one I'm talking about.
It did look newer. So his series started in 82. Now you've got me wondering which one specifically, because the image on it looked newer.
Face, yeah.
Okay, someone did pull it up. So let's see. Issue actually gives me a decent idea for the timeline as well. So it was number 11. It was Wolverine issue 11, cover dated 1991. Oh, yeah, because it was probably number 11 of his main series, and I just looked up the limited series because I forgot there was a limited series to begin with. I even had the collection of that limited series. By the way, that total offshoot, the Wolverine limited series from the 80s is also fantastic and worth checking out.
You know what? I'm looking at his filmography right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like Martin Scorsese's.
Yeah.
And it looks like, okay, the first one that he did dealing with the mob was Mean Streets in 1973. And then I guess you could kind of argue Taxi Driver, but that's not really one. Raging Bull, there's mafia people in there.
While I kind of would argue gangs, like Raging Bull, and then Taxi Driver I kind of wouldn't.
Yeah, they're kind of but let's just, for the sake of argument, exclude that one. So it would have been Mean Streets from 73. Then he wouldn't have done another one until Goodfellas in 1990. That's after.
Well, I mean, Goodfellas is his most famous movies, and then Departed is up there as well. So
Yeah, people
like
forget
he's really known for the mob stuff, even though he does lots of stuff that isn't mob stuff.
Yeah, like he did Cape Fear. I keep forgetting that from 91.
Dude, like I cannot stress this enough. If you see a movie directed by Martin Scorsese, I recommend checking it out, because I'll say this, lots of his movies are usually really long, but they're usually they usually justify the length, and they're usually fucking good. Like Departed, actually 2.5 hours.
He made me a fan of Leonardo DiCaprio, and it was one of his movies that made me an actual fan of his, and it might surprise you.
Which one?
The Aviator.
Oh, dude, he does a good performance in The Aviator. Oh my god.
Yeah, he really does, and that one made me go, well, because Catch Me If You Can made me go, okay, if you could act along Tom Hanks, I mean, I think you're okay. And then watching that one, going, okay, I'm a fan. And then I went back and went through some of Leo's old stuff and watched the Basketball Diaries, and that one just, nope, I'll watch anything you do after this.
Well, that's so I think it's worth going into briefly what
this
our
cast
mindset would be with Leo, because if you're growing up about my age, which spoiler, I'm 42, so I'm not the youngest person ever, but when Titanic came out, people would not shut the fuck up about Leonardo DiCaprio.
It was everywhere.
I was like, I don't care if he's a good actor. I just don't want to see his face again ever.
I think the best comparison of it would be is because you're a few years older than me, but I still remember that pandemonium that was it's pretty much the coverage that Taylor Swift is getting now.
Yeah,
isn't even close.
Yeah, no, I am not nearly burnt out on Taylor Swift gets a bit annoying, but it's not nearly as omnipresent as Leo was during Titanic.
Like all those teeny bopper magazines, they were just in full flourish around this time.
Yeah.
I think even in the grocery stores, they had their own shelving, and it was full of just pretty much carbon copies of the same type of stuff. Leo was almost on every single one of those, if it wasn't a boy band.
Everybody talked about how hot he was.
Yeah.
It's I don't even care if he's a good actor anymore. I just don't want to see his face. And
I just want a new Halloween movie.
Yeah. And then Leo did something really smart, because I guess he was all right kind of doing it, because Titanic is James Cameron, but he just started working with really good directors. Obviously, he worked with Spielberg on Catch Me If You Can, and then he became one of Scorsese's favorite actors. And fuck, he got a chance to really stretch those acting chops. And yeah, I'm a fan of him at this point. If Leo's in a movie, I'm probably gonna check it out.
Yeah, he was actually really great in The Beach too.
And The Beach is actually one I haven't seen, so
dude, watch it. It's pretty good.
And Pink Bunny, he I think it's worth saying Scorsese doesn't make the same movie over again. He makes mob movies, probably more than your average director, but at most, I would say a mob movie is about a third of his filmography. He does plenty of stuff that isn't mob movies.
Yeah.
He's such a good filmmaker, and he is worth checking out. Absolutely. I love Martin Scorsese. He's a great filmmaker. Yeah, Departed, like I said, when going back a little bit, but when I first saw this, I loved it. One of my favorite movies for a while. I definitely as time goes by, I'd say I've maybe cooled on it a bit, but I still think it's a fantastic movie. It's worth checking out. I think Matt Damon as the villain, dude, I thought he was great as the villain, because I so hated him so much throughout this whole goddamn movie.
Yeah. He is very unlikable in this.
Yeah. And I remember I just read an article that just came out talking about how with this movie, the studio was begging Scorsese, spoilers for almost 20-year-old movie, they were begging Scorsese to leave either Leonardo DiCaprio or Matt Damon alive at the end. And I was just like, Matt Damon has to die. I'm sorry. Like, if I watch this movie and Matt Damon doesn't die, I loved it. I'd probably walk out of the theater and be like, I fucking hate this movie. Fuck.
Yeah, I'll admit the way that they were showing it, how they were going to end it at first, with like keeping him alive. First time I'm watching it, the whole last minutes of footage, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
I know.
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
He does play it like essentially Matt Damon wins. He gets the upper hand and he gets to go home and win. And it's like, oh.
Like he controls the narrative and everything. It's like, you gotta be fucking kidding. And then like for some reason we get a shot of him coming into his apartment, which it's like, okay, why are we doing this? And then you see, he's like, wait, what is he looking at? And you see the covered shoes walk in and you just know, fucking Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Cool.
The one person who knows who's in the position to be able to look this and figure out who the fucking rat is and who did all this shit.
I think Leo might have had another safety plan.
Nice.
He probably had a backup plan, and it was send everything to him. Send everything he has to him. He probably did it as soon as he found it.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, I'm going to meet him. If you don't hear from me, take care of this.
It's frankly one of the best endings because like it really like the whole thing setting up so like Matt Damon wins, he gets ultimate victory, and just in the last few seconds, like boom, it evaporates and it's over. It's so good.
Then we get a CGI rat.
Yeah, CGI rat.
Which pissed a lot of people off for some reason.
Dude, this movie, like, it made sense. This movie is filled with rats, by the way.
Yeah,
just everybody ratting on everybody else. It's insane. But yeah, it's still a really good movie. I don't love it as much as when I first saw it, but I still think it's fantastic upon rewatch.
Yeah, Pink Bunny, that is true. I remember reading that too. He did not want to wear a Red Sox hat.
Oh well, no, I think it's also worth talking about. Like, so Jack Nicholson is, even if I didn't read interviews talk about how he's doing his own thing in this movie, you can tell he's doing kind of whatever the fuck he wants in this movie. Like, he is so weird in this movie.
Oh, Marky Mark was just full Marky Mark, and it was just awesome.
Yeah, Marky Mark was.
He even was talking shit to his brother in that, Donnie. Which when it first came out, it probably took me about 3 viewings to go, oh fuck, that is Donnie Wahlberg.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good movie. It's worth checking out. Anything you want to add before we go on to Exorcist?
No.
All right. The Exorcist, 1973. So I didn't even realize this. Like, I know Exorcist Believer was coming out soon, and I was like, oh, okay, so it's kind of in the same vein as the Halloween 2018, and I really liked Halloween 2018.
I did too.
So I was like, okay, interesting. I mean, I guess that's the way to do it. But then I looked it up, and I didn't realize this until like a day or two ago that Exorcist Believer is being directed by the guy who did Halloween 2018. So
yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't. I was like, oh shit,
no,
really,
like I had read I think it was right before Ends came out. It was after Kills, sorry. And he was interviewing. He was like, is there any other somebody in an interview had asked him, is there any other like franchise he would like to cover? Like and he said The Exorcist has always been one of my favorite horror films of all time.
Nice.
And I'm happy that worked for him.
So was there a TV series with Gina Davis? I
wasn't aware of that.
Okay.
But yes, I agree. It is definitely one of the scariest films
of
all time.
Got me curious. Like,
it's also one of my favorites.
No, this is it's a good one. It's very much kind of like a vibes movie. like I'll like the story here is actually really absurdly simple. Just essentially, a little girl gets demon in her, and priest has to get her out. Now, there's more to it than that, but like we break it down bare bones. That's it. And what's amazing is how well this movie works with that. Just really basic story. Hold on. You got me curious about this TV series now.
Yeah. Well, some of this is actually based off of like some truth too. The story in the book by William Peter Blatty. He based this off of a story of possession that he heard in Georgetown, and it was one that happened at the university with a student. It was a 14-year-old kid, and there's no other information on who this person was or anything other than just they got possessed and they had to perform an exorcism on him. So some things were based off of this, but this also has a lot of folklore behind it. It's definitely something that is like a cursed film per se. Like, okay, after the infamous crucifix scene, right? And where like Chris McNeil runs to Reagan to try and help her, and then Reagan like pushes her away, or the demon does.
Yeah.
The scream she made was real, because in that they had her on a harness to really pull her away so she would be far away and staging for the room. The scream she made when she made contact is real, because that thing went a little too hard and broke her tailbone.
Ooh.
That's a real reaction. When Reagan's being like tousled up and down in the bed, again, she was on like an apparatus and it was a little too rough, and it gave Linda Blair back problems. She had to have work done. The final scene when the other priest is giving last rites to Karis, the director, William Friedkin, wanted to get a really good performance out of his actor. So he slapped him in the face moments before they shot that scene. So that's why when he's like giving the cross, you see his hand trembling. Real reaction. And then I forget the scene, but there's also one where he wanted to have a genuine like look of fear on that priest, Father Karras's face. So he fired a revolver next to his ear.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh, the light went out again as we're talking about this.
Well, the dude, it's William Friedkin,
yes,
who died fairly recently, as I recall.
Yeah, he did.
Pretty famous director. I think this is probably where he got his name out too, because this movie is very.
He had also done the Ninth Configuration too. He also directed that.
But yeah, like I said, this is so much about like vibes. This is so much
atmosphere.
Yeah, atmosphere. Yeah, like you have this. You have what, Chris McNeil, is that the name of the
yes,
character?
that is the character.
Ellen Bernstein.
Yes.
Who is returning in the new movie, and apparently Linda Blair is returning as well in a undisclosed amount of time. So we don't know how.
I've heard that too. I've heard it too. Yeah, and I'm kind of happy about that.
Well, I don't know how you do the sequel and not bring back Linda. Okay, spoiler: Regan survives this, which I don't know if there's any real shock in that one. But anyways, Chris McNeil.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go on. And
I was just gonna say, Chris McNeil is like a fairly successful, famous actress in this movie, and her daughter seems like a good kid,
normal kid,
being a kid, and then she becomes the devil.
Possessed by a demon Pazuzu.
Yes.
Not the devil.
Oh, okay. Well, it called itself the devil, so.
Well, yeah.
If I can't trust the devil, who can I trust? Come on.
The church.
Oh. I think I'd rather trust the devil.
Big same. But you can trust Buddy Christ.
Yeah. I can definitely trust Buddy Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, well, this is a really, like you said, it's really, this film builds so great on atmosphere. And this does have a lot of it. Like, well, other fun points about this. I mean, this movie has been analyzed so much, and there is so much other people have found so much like meaning or different like subliminal hints and things that are in this. I think the guy Rob Eigler, who does like a Film Collective, he did one like a great breakdown of this, and it's just like just super fan. But it's interesting about this because, as I was talking about it earlier, how like, you know, a lot of people did get, like production people did get hurt. The actor who played the director in the film, the English chap Bert, actually died before it was ever released.
Oh shit! I did not know that.
Like, there's some weird lore behind this. This is why, like, whenever people talk about the cursed films like Poltergeist, this is also mentioned because, well, like, you know, the two actresses who got hurt, Linda Blair and Ellen Burns, they both got hurt in the production of this and filming of it. And, you know, it is definitely one of the scariest movies of all time. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, Alex. Yeah. Yeah. The Omen 2. That is another cursed film. Like, it's crazy.
And then, listen, I'm not saying I trust the devil. I'm just saying I trust the devil more than the church. And Elizabeth Hurley. Yeah.
When did that come out
Hurley
again?
can probably do whatever she wants. Bedazzled.
Yeah.
Was that early 2000s, I want to say?
I want to say, yeah. Brendan Fraser was in that, yeah.
Yeah. That was towards the end, like the God, when Brendan Fraser was over the place for a little bit, and then that was like the movie towards the end of that phase, I want to say.
Yeah, I think the last one was Dudley Do.
And now I miss him. And although we are getting more of him, thankfully, but yeah.
Well, he's going to be in the movie we're going to see next week.
Oh, which one?
The Scorsese one.
Oh, well, that's in 2 weeks, but
that's 2 weeks, yeah, but still, he's in it.
No, I did not know that. I'm more excited for that one. Of course, I don't know. It's a Scorsese movie. My only worry about that movie is the length, because honestly, I think it's going to be a really good movie.
It's going to be 5 hours. No intermission.
Listen, they hand you a catheter when you get into the theater, and thank God.
Or it depends.
Yeah, usually they give you a poster, and this one they're just going to give you a catheter.
It has the title on. It has the title on it, so you know.
Yeah. It'll be a collector's catheter.
Yeah.
Hang it on your wall when you're done
with all your other memorabilia. just a quick run in the wash, and it's fine.
Yeah. It's
dishwasher friendly.
Yes. But yeah, this is just like The Exorcist. It's a really good classic movie, and it is worth checking out if you've never seen it. This one is almost 50 years old too. Like,
yeah,
Bernstein was 41 when she did this, and now she's 91 doing the sequel. Not a young woman, but
no,
hey.
I have a feeling that she just might be around for a little while, and then that might be it.
That would be wild, because they've been advertising her involvement pretty heavily. It would be wild if like it's mostly Linda there and then she's out. Like,
tease Linda, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it was. But I don't know. Either way, I'm still looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm still looking forward to it.
I know they paid her a lot of money to come back. So,
well, she didn't want to do anything related to it after 2.
Yeah.
Anything horror. Well, she did do some things horror, but she didn't want to get even close to it. And I think the only thing that made her change her mind to do anything with it was a comedy where she got to play a parody of herself. And it was like, I think it was like from the same guys who did Airplane. It's called Repossessed. And
Oh,
Leslie Nielsen is in it too.
yeah. I saw that movie forever ago. I remember enjoying it, but I was also very young, so I don't know why I'd think upon rewatch. But
this
you know what?
is this is
Exorcist is classic. Yes.
this is a classic movie, and I've been working my way through the book, and it's a little scarier, but it's still good.
Mm-hmm.
And she hasn't even gotten possessed yet, where I'm at in the book.
Oh wow! So it's scary before she gets possessed.
That whole bit in Iraq is very unsettling. There's
Okay.
stuff moving in the attic now, so.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is an excellent movie worth checking out. Anything you want to add before we move?
Nah.
On to sign out. Okay. So next week, I just had it pulled up too, but I gotta reopen it. So next week we got Exorcist Believer, which I'm excited to see what they do. I'm excited to see what the follow up to this is, because that's going to be a direct follow up to this one.
Well, I mean, Legion is technically the follow up to this, like
but I don't.
in Bladdyverse.
I don't think that is considered like. We'll you know what I'm going to say. Oh, I don't know. Listen.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing canon-wise.
We'll have to see the movie and see what they consider canon. Because Legion was like, we saw that a while ago on the podcast.
Exorcist
that was
3,
a solid
we watched.
fucking movie. Yeah,
solid movie, right?
Yeah, like George C. Scott. Like, fuck, he's
Yeah, well, what's funny about that is they had made that entire film without the last few seconds of that, the exorcism scene.
Mm-hmm.
And the executives were like, wait, we can't have an Exorcist 3 and not have an exorcism scene.
Yeah.
So the reason why that felt shoehorned in is because it was.
Yeah.
The movie was fine without it, I thought.
Yeah, no, it was.
And they also wanted the.
It's definitely a sequel, but it's not like it's obviously not a exorcism style movie, which is why this story is called Legion.
That's why it's called Legion. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about the demon itself.
Mm-hmm.
But that also the studio wanted more of the original actor who played the priest in that. And since he was. And from an interview I watched with Brad Dourif, he said, well, the problem is he was suffering from wet brain. And what wet brain is, something when you're in the depths of an alcoholic bender, you can't remember anything, even if you've memorized it.
Mm.
So that's why in the cut we watched, Brad was featured more.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing because Brad Dourif is a fucking phenomenal actor.
Dude, Brad Dourif is amazing.
He can literally do anything. He is a chameleon.
Mm-hmm. But we also will be looking at the last half of Ahsoka, which I'm excited to get caught up with. That will be fun.
Alex, they do. They don't put as much emphasis on it as they did in the film, but it's the dogs fighting, yeah.
Okay. And then Wheel of Time Season 2.
Oh, we're getting back to that.
Yeah, we'll finish it off. It's like there'll be moments in that series that give me a glimmer, and then it just goes back to not doing it for me. It's frustrating. We will see. Maybe I will put on the last half of season 2 and be like, oh, this is great, but I don't have high hopes. I don't.
No, I don't either.
So if you want to see me rag a bit more on Wheel of Time, probably next week will be it.
And just like watch me be completely confused as to what the fuck is going on with this show.
Well, it's almost like it's not made for fans of the book. It's not made for people who don't know what they're going into. What is this fucking made for?
You think that's the most disturbing part of the opening, Alex? The dogs fighting? Oh no, absolutely. It does catch you off guard. The wind of just that sound of it blowing and how it just fully takes over all the sensory of like just hearing, and that's all you're really hearing. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, taking out of the score. That for me is just the creepiest thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the car always catches me off guard.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and sign out. Everyone, have a good one.
Take care.